Dona Lúcia lived in the upper part of the neighborhood, where the wind always felt fresher and the afternoons carried a comfortable silence. At 76, she was known by everyone as a serene, disciplined, and remarkably lucid woman. She always said the mind was like a garden. Neglect it for a short time and the weeds begin to grow. It was her favorite philosophy, inspired by the stoic principles she had learned in her youth. But in recent weeks, something had begun to disturb her meticulous routine. First came the small forgetfulness, a name disappearing from the tip of her tongue, the reason she had entered a room, a word escaping mid-sentence. Then came larger lapses, like forgetting where she had placed the door key or forgetting to water her plants, something that never happened. What frightened her the most, however, was waking up one morning and not remembering whether she had already taken her daily medication. She stood still at the sink, holding the bottle in her hands, trying to recover from memory some image, some gesture, any sign that she had already done it. Nothing. Only an odd, silent, uncomfortable emptiness. She sat down slowly, placing her hands on the table, as if trying to steady not only her body, but her very existence. She took a deep breath and mentally repeated what the philosophers she admired had always taught. Accept what you cannot control. Act upon what you can. But for the first time in her life, she couldn't distinguish what was within her control and what wasn't. The sound of light footsteps interrupted her thoughts. It was Raphael, her grandson. He always stopped by to see her after college. His expression changed instantly when he saw her face. He knew Dona Lúcia well enough to realize something was wrong before she said a single word. "Grandma, are you okay?" She hesitated for a few seconds before answering. She didn't want to frighten him, but she also didn't want to lie. Her face carried that kind of fragility that only appears when someone is trying to remain strong. "I think my world is getting blurry, my boy. I can't explain it, but I feel my mind is getting tired before my body." Raphael pulled up a chair and sat beside her. He took her hand gently, as if holding something precious that could slip away. "Then we're going to clear this blur," he said softly, "and we're going to do it together." A timid but real light appeared in her eyes, like a candle lit in the darkness. Something inside her found a small, fragile thread of hope in that moment. She didn't know it yet, but this was the first step on a journey that would change everything. A journey of rediscovery, discipline, nourishment, and purpose. A journey where the body, mind, and spirit would learn to walk again in the same rhythm. Raphael had always admired his grandmother's inner strength. He grew up listening to her stories about discipline, courage, and resilience. From her he learned that the world does not respond to our emotions, but to our actions. Seeing her so fragile awakened in him a calm yet firm urgency, a determination to act before things got worse. The next morning, he returned early to his grandmother's house. He carried a bag full of ingredients and one small object that would become the starting point of everything. A green-covered notebook, simple but beautiful. "Grandma, I want to start a project with you," he said, placing the notebook on the table. She touched the cover gently, like someone recognizing an invitation. "Hey, project? And what are we going to do with it?" Raphael smiled, the confident kind of smile from someone who knows exactly where he is heading. "We're going to wake your memory, strengthen your body, and organize your routine. In here, we'll record everything. What you eat, how you feel, what you remember, what improves." She looked up, surprised. "All of that? In a notebook?" "All of that with discipline, Grandma. The notebook is just the beginning." When he opened the first page, he wrote in large letters, "Week 1. The Awakening of the Mind." Dona Lúcia stared at the sentence for a few seconds. She felt something shift inside her. It was like someone opening a window in a dark room. Raphael stood and began moving around the kitchen. He grabbed a cutting board, fruits, seeds, jars. She watched him with curiosity. He sliced avocado, washed strawberries, separated walnuts, added natural yogurt, and a drizzle of honey. Then he added flaxseed. "This is the memory smoothie," he explained. "Avocado has good fats for the brain. Walnuts help with neural connections. Strawberries bring antioxidants. Yogurt supports overall health. It's everything your mind needs to wake up." She took the first sip, closed her eyes, and smiled. "It's soft and strong at the same time. Just like you," Raphael teased. She laughed, and in that moment, her laughter wasn't just a sound. It was a sign of life, hope, and renewal. "Let's go on, my boy," she said. "I want to fight for what is mine. I want to remember who I am." Raphael wrote down her first sentence in the notebook. "The mind needs care just as much as the body." And so, the journey officially began. In the days that followed, Raphael began accompanying his grandmother during lunch. He wanted her to understand that memory does not live alone. It needs a strong body to support it. One afternoon, he prepared a colorful and balanced plate. Grilled chicken, brown rice, beans, steamed broccoli, and extra virgin olive oil drizzled on top. "Strength begins here," he explained. "Firm muscles maintain independence, and independence is freedom." She looked at the plate thoughtfully. "Independence has always been my greatest treasure," she replied with quiet pride. From that day on, eating stopped being a simple routine and became a purpose. After lunch, they started walking together. At first, only 10 minutes, then 15. Her steps were slow but steady. Each improvement, no matter how small, was celebrated. "Longevity isn't about speed," she would say. "It's about continuity." Raphael knew she was right. Movement was awakening not only her body but her clarity. By the end of the first week, she was waking up with more energy. The tiredness was still there, but it no longer ruled her days. In the notebook she wrote, "The body responds when we call it," and she felt ready to call louder. Raphael knew that memory was like a muscle. It needed exercise, so he added new habits to his grandmother's routine. The first was simple. Before bed, she would write 3 things: something she learned, something she remembered, and something she was grateful for. Dona Lúcia immediately embraced the idea. She had always believed in the power of words. The second habit involved small morning challenges, crossword puzzles, rapid-fire questions, retelling old stories. These activities stimulated connections that had been fading, like turning on lights in an old house. The third ritual was green tea at sunset. "It calms and awakens at the same time," Raphael explained, and he was right. Every day, she remembered something new, where she had placed a key, an old recipe, the name of a neighbor she had forgotten. They were small memories, but powerful signs that her mind was slowly awakening. On the last night of the week, she wrote in the notebook, "Remembering is coming home." Little by little, she felt she was finding her way back. 3 weeks after beginning the project, something remarkable happened. Dona Lúcia woke early, made her coffee, and walked to the porch without forgetting any step of her morning ritual. She felt light, present, awake. That day she suddenly remembered her old friend Alzira's birthday, something she hadn't done in a long time. She picked up the phone and sent a message before the memory could slip away. When Raphael arrived, she was smiling. "Something good happened," he said. "I remembered Alzira's birthday," she replied proudly. "Before I forgot again, I sent her a message." He celebrated like it was a great achievement, and for her, it was. Small victories are monumental when one fights against forgetfulness. Later they went for a walk and she noticed her steps were firmer. "I feel like parts of me are returning," she said. "They are," Raphael replied softly. That evening she wrote in the notebook, "The mind awakens when the body moves." For the first time in months she fell asleep with a peaceful heart. But no journey is made only of bright days. One morning, Dona Lúcia woke up with her heart racing. She looked around and for a few frightening seconds she did not recognize her own bedroom. A cold wave of confusion washed over her. She sat on the edge of her bed, her breath shallow, searching for a memory that wouldn't come. Everything felt distant, blurred, unattainable. When Raphael arrived, he found her trembling. "Grandma, what happened?" She swallowed hard, trying to preserve her dignity. "For a moment, I didn't know who I was, my boy. I felt like I disappeared." Raphael knelt in front of her, his eyes firm. "Grandma, a setback doesn't mean failure. It's part of the process. The stoicism you taught me isn't only for strong days. It's for moments like this." She closed her eyes. Tears slipped quietly down her face. "I know, but it hurt. The pain doesn't erase the path. We begin again today." She took a deep breath. That moment would not defeat her. Even if she had to start from zero, she would rise again. Continuing was still her choice, and she chose to go on. The next day, they resumed the routine with renewed care. Raphael reinforced her memory-focused diet, omega-3 rich fish, turmeric, berries, nuts, and avocado. He also prepared a warm, soothing soup for the evening. Dona Lúcia noticed that each food seemed to bring back a small portion of clarity. It wasn't magic. It was disciplined nourishment. They restarted their short walks. At first her steps were unsteady, but soon she regained her rhythm. "Consistency defeats time," Raphael reminded her. She nodded. She felt it too. In the notebook she wrote brief but powerful sentences. "I am back. I remember. I exist." The setback had not erased her progress. It had sharpened her awareness. "I learned that getting up is more important than not falling," she told Raphael. He smiled. That understanding was the turning point she needed. In the following weeks, Dona Lúcia surprised even herself. She woke early, remembered simple tasks, and showed more energy than she had in years. Raphael noticed that even her posture had changed, not just physically, but emotionally. "Grandma, you're stronger," he said. "Strength isn't lifting weight, my boy," she replied. "It's lifting yourself." They introduced a new dish into her routine, the stoic strength plate, with chicken, beans, kale, and quinoa. It became her favorite meal, nourishing her body and giving her a sense of empowerment. They also increased her mental challenges, reading aloud, recalling memories, writing without checking previous notes. Each exercise lit up a different corner of her mind. "I'm remembering who I was," she said one afternoon, "and I like who I'm becoming." Raphael realized she wasn't just recovering memories. She was rebuilding her identity. This wasn't a fight against time. It was a dance with it, and Dona Lúcia was learning to lead the rhythm again. 2 months after starting the project, Dona Lúcia was a different woman, in the best possible way. She walked with confidence, spoke with clarity, and carried a new spark in her eyes. This wasn't youth returning. This was lucidity reborn. One golden sunset, she called Raphael to the porch. "I want to tell you something," she said gently. "When I started all this, I was afraid of disappearing, afraid that old age would erase me piece by piece." He took her hand. "And what did you discover, Grandma?" "That memory weakens, but wisdom grows, that the body tires, but it can be strengthened, and the spirit, oh, the spirit only awakens when it finds purpose." Raphael felt his heart swell. "And what is your purpose now?" She smiled, serene and renewed. "To live with presence, to eat with intention, to move my body with love. and to remember that each day is a chance to be reborn. He realized then that she wasn't just an example of resilience, she was an example of life itself. The months passed, and Dona Lúcia maintained her new habits with a quiet discipline. She woke early, drank her memory smoothie, walked, read, wrote, and expressed gratitude daily. There were strong days and tired days, but she now knew how to navigate all of them. One morning, she sat on the porch with her notebook full of handwritten pages. Raphael approached. "Grandma, what did you learn the most from this journey?" She thought for a moment before answering. "That longevity isn't living long. It's living well. It's feeling the body as an ally, not a burden. It's feeding the mind not with fear, but with courage. It's walking even when slowly. It's remembering that discipline is a form of love." Raphael smiled. "Then you've won." She shook her head softly. "My boy, no one wins against time. But I won something greater. I won against giving up." She closed the notebook and breathed in the morning air. Life has flavor when we choose to taste it. And in that peaceful silence, she discovered the true flavor of longevity.